FASD is everybody's business.
I've actually found that it's a lonely journey.
FASD needs to come out of the closet. FASD is a diffuse brain injury caused by exposure of the unborn baby's brain to alcohol.
FASD occurs in all sectors of our society, and in studies internationally it's thought that between 2 and 5% of the general population may be affected by FASD.
It's probably where ADHD was 20 years ago in Australia. Some scepticism, some, oh, is it real?
When I got the diagnosis, the first thing that I remember hearing was a permanent brain injury. It could not be fixed. I remember hearing that and it's like my whole world fell apart.
There is no typical child with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder, but if you ask parents and teachers, perhaps the most common problem is behavioural problems.
You know, the fact of the matter is 80% of these children, if they don't have the supports, end up either in an institution, in jail, you know, living on the streets with health issues. They're just unable to live in the community unsupported. And so you've got to have that knowledge so that you can then put the supports in place.
Health professionals, I've found, don't always understand what FASD is. It's very important when you find a therapist, like an OT or a speech, that they have some awareness or understanding, or they're willing to learn, so that the best outcome for your child is achieved.
FASD at this point in time is sometimes a stigmatising diagnosis, and I think the reason for that is because it's only diagnosed rarely.
There's a lot of guilt and shame that can be experienced by a lot of parents as well. So it's really important that as health professionals we have a responsibility to really let those families know how much we appreciate how difficult and challenging that process might be.
Community attitude needs to change 100%. We've felt it. The negativity in statements that have been made to us because we have 2 children with FASD, at times it's just so disheartening, and you know, they're obviously not our children, so that stigma doesn't really stick, but already we've felt it, so you can imagine how hard it must be for a parent.
Indeed, most of the children that we see, the exposure to alcohol was inadvertent because mum didn't realise she was pregnant, wasn't planning to get pregnant, and stopped drinking as soon as she found out she was pregnant.
Understand that this is a real condition, and it is a challenge for parents not to judge the parents on how they are parenting, but to support and to learn as much as they can about it to better support the parents and the child with FASD.
You know, at the end of the day, they're still your child, they're still perfect to you. They have meltdowns, they have difficulties, they struggle every day, but it doesn't stop you loving your kids.
Our 2 are the light of life. You know, if they weren't at the school would be a dull and boring place without our 2. They are the centre of attention of their classroom, and not for bad reasons anymore, because they are happy, easygoing, very lovable children. And most of these kids are like that. They just need the support and the structure for them to be able to achieve it.
The caregivers of Australia are the ones who've led this charge. It's because carers and advocates have kept their advocacy up for the last 20 years and they haven't let go, and clinicians and researchers have followed. So we're all in this together, and there is great cause for hope.